So we are going to begin this prison board meeting, scheduled for 12:30. Attorney Ruggiero, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Very well, Sheriff. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to call to order the July 20th, 2022 meeting. First order of business is to approve the minutes from last meeting. I'll need a motion. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only. I see no response. Okay, we'll go to motion 22-3038, a motion to approve all current payables for the Community Correction Center and the prison.
Second.
Need a motion to,
You made the motion. Okay.
is there a motion to approve the current payables? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll start with the reports, 22-3039. The Controller, Mr. DeBilio.
Yes, Sheriff McAndrew. Thank you. Controller's report for the prison inmate and canteen accounts for June of 2022. The Controller's office has reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the prison business office for the month of June 2022, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $440,570.87 as of June 30th of 2022. The balance in the canteen checking account was $860,833.81 as of June 30th of 2022. And in addition, as of June 30th, the canteen account owned 2 certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 and the other at $132,360.38, totaling $147,360.38. During the month of June of 2022, $72,470.17 was paid from the canteen account for expenses which benefit county inmates, and those itemized expenses are detailed on page 3 of my report. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the Controller? Motion to approve his report.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next is 22-3040, the Community Correction Center report. Mr. McConaughey?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the house arrest report for the month of June. House arrest totals were 154 participants. Juvenile had 22. Programs revenues, house arrest had $52,273.51. Juvenile had $3,700 for a total of $55,973.51. Year-to-date on both is $361,277.13. Programs expenses were $76,836.56. Programs completions, 41. Violations were 6. Outstanding warrants still, 1 for work release, 1 for house arrest. Budget report overall, overtime's at 36%, expenses at 45%, and revenues at 55%. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. McConaughey? Okay, a motion to approve the Community Correction Center report.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you. Same to you. Okay, then the warden's report. Deputy Warden Rozell.
Good afternoon, Board. The in-house population for the month of June was 731 inmates. 558 were county inmates. For the month of June, we averaged 635 adult males, 3 juvenile males, and 94 adult females. The average daily population of U.S. Marshals detainees was 173. The overtime and out-of-county boarding reports are attached. Our staffing update, we currently have 169 full-time officers, 5 officers out on workers' comp, 2 on continuous FMLA, and 61 on intermittent FMLA. We have 2 on administrative leave, and we have 2 full-time vacancies. Our recent class of 7 cadets officially graduated from our training orientation course on Friday, July 15th, and we have placed them on our shifts. Our budget as of June 30th, the revenue was at 51% and expenses were at 49%. Overtime is at 49% and staff salary is at 37%. Extraordinary occurrence reports. There were 7 extraordinary occurrences in the month of June. On 6/2/22, an inmate tore the sprinkler head off the cell's ceiling and began to intentionally hit his head. Staff had to place him in the emergency restraint chair to stop him from harming himself. On 6/4/22, an inmate on a suicide prevention watch had covered his cell's camera and was observed to have a self-inflicted laceration on his forehead. Staff entered the cell and placed him in the emergency restraint chair for his safety. On 6/5/22, the same inmate covered his same cell's camera while on a suicide prevention watch. Due to noncompliant behavior, staff had to use OC spray while entering this person's cell, and staff placed him in the emergency restraint chair for his safety and for the safety of all. On 6/6/22, the same inmate again covered his cell's camera and was displaying signs of aggression towards staff. OC spray was used, however, the inmate maintained being noncompliant. Staff then used the pepper ball launcher to attempt to gain his compliance, entered his cell, and placed him in the emergency restraint chair for his safety and the safety of all involved. On 6/12/22, an inmate was acting erratically, violently kicking his cell door and challenging staff to a physical altercation. This person then began to make statements of self-harm. Upon receiving authorization from the shift commander, he was then placed in the emergency restraint chair for his own safety. On 6/12/22, the same inmate had once again covered his cell's camera and once again displayed aggressive and noncompliant behavior. He was placed in the emergency restraint chair for his safety. However, he was able to maneuver himself in such a way as to allow him to continually strike his head off the chair. The prison psychiatrist, Dr. Malik, was contacted and authorized placement into 4-point humane restraints. On 6/24/22, an inmate became aggressive after a video court hearing he had. Staff were able to maintain control of this person. However, he continued to be noncompliant with orders. A decision was made to place him in the emergency restraint chair for his safety and the safety of all involved. There were 4 PREA investigations completed in the month of June. There was 1 allegation of inmate-on-inmate sexual harassment, and it was deemed unfounded. There were 2 allegations of inmate-on-inmate sexual contact. 1 was unfounded, 1 was founded. And there was 1 allegation of staff-on-inmate sexual misconduct, and it was deemed unfounded. And this concludes the report.
Thank you. Hold on one second, Deputy Warden. Are there any questions for Deputy Warden Rozell?
Were the PREA investigations then turned over to District Attorney Powell?
Yes, all PREA investigations are turned over to the DA's office.
Okay, good.
Question. I know we started back up with religious services and things like that. And I had a request that if we could start AA meetings again.
Okay.
Is that something that we could look into, possibly maybe doing them at night?
Right, yes, we can. The warden and Deputy Warden Pig and I had been meeting with regard to starting up groups. Like you just had mentioned, we started our religious services. They started providing groups and individual services. And then we're looking toward conducting groups related to substance use. And we have our behavioral health staff on staff who we're talking with to hopefully provide group meetings as well. So that's something we're definitely interested in moving towards.
Okay. All right. And I know the warden's not here today.
I've been asking for the monthly medical reports, on performance reports,
Right,
which haven't really gotten anything yet, so.
right. I
You
do
know-
know the warden was actively
Yeah.
doing an audit and looking into records and such.
When he gets back, I would like to, maybe look into a more comprehensive performance report, maybe comparing the contract to the RFP, and what we're getting. I'm getting some conflicting reports that we're not getting what we're supposed to be. So
Right.
I think we really need to look into some of this stuff.
Right. We have been maintaining very close contact with a lot of people with WellPath and have been meeting with them almost weekly just to kind of keep them just with regular communication between us and them. And like I said, the warden has been very actively doing an audit and looking into everything you're asking of him.
Okay.
Do you think that'll be ready for next month's meeting?
I can't say for sure, but I think that's likely.
Okay. Anything else for the deputy warden? Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you. Motion to approve the deputy warden's report.
Motion.
Is there a second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. Okay, this is the opportunity for the public to address the board. When you do, please state your name.
Joan Hodawanitz, Scranton. With regard to the certificates of deposit, Gary, what is the rate of interest on those CDs?
They are not very high, and we've talked about moving them to state-funded programs for a higher rate. The issue has not elevated to doing that yet. So that's another thing that this board can discuss.
Well, the reason I ask is when they mature, right now, you're going to start seeing rates of interest on CDs going up
Yes.
as interest rates are going up in general. And once they mature, I'm hoping that one way or another, we can find more lucrative
Yes.
returns because you have over $100,000 in CDs, so you should be able to get something better than what you've gotten in the past.
Yeah, we're interested in getting a higher rate.
Yeah, do you have on the top of your head an idea of when they mature?
My chief auditor. Okay. You happen to know what they are, Reggie?
So they're going to mature very quickly before the end of the year. So hopefully you can put them in something that's going to give you a greater return on your investment.
I'll look into those rates.
Yeah, never leave money on the table. First rule of finance.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
I just developed a question, Deputy Warden. With the cadets coming on board, will that alleviate some of the necessary overtime?
Yes, for sure it will.
Okay. And then secondly, that one, I guess it's a male client in the prison who had a number of issues where he's consistently blocking the camera. I'm not necessarily saying harsh punishment, but what's going to be necessary or what has been done to break the cycle?
That's a hard question to answer because there's so many different factors involved.
I see.
Whether it's just behavior or mental health or, that's why they brought the psychiatrist.
So that was that
mental-
same gentleman
Yes.
for every single thing that you had.
I'm Deputy Warden Big P.
Thank
If the inmate in question is who I believe it is.
Okay.
It's someone we have been trying to get transferred to a mental health facility.
I was going to say, yeah.
For an extended period of time. His refusal to cooperate in some medical procedures has been the delay.
Okay.
There are serious mental health issues there. And as a matter of fact, yesterday, and again, if this is the inmate that, and I believe it
Right,
is.
and that's fine, sure.
We were able to get him yesterday to a local hospital. They were able to provide the necessary medical treatment, so we can now proceed with getting him transferred.
And so, thank you. And so the officers who are injured, is it something like that that's causing the injury? You mentioned some officers that were,
Yeah, when the inmates, oh, no.
Oh.
The work, when, I'm sorry, the officers on workers' comp.
yes.
Yes, there was a couple officers that were involved in altercations with inmates, yes.
With inmates, okay. And has anything been done to be able to alleviate altercations? So maybe, and that would be my final question then. Do you feel as though we're staffed enough so that it's not one deputy or two deputies against a very aggressive individual, but, that 3 or 4 would quell the situation more quickly? So do you think we're staffed enough?
I think we're close to our allowed staffing.
So the question would be, would you suggest a greater allowance?
Well, the warden is actually, he does yearly staffing analysis.
Okay.
And he would be the one to answer better and provide information on whether or not he thinks or foresees a need for more officers.
Many thanks. Thank you.
Deputy Warden, I noticed there was just a graduating class. I forgot to ask this when you were on the podium. After that class, are you still short 2 full-time? Even after the graduating class?
However, we just brought back a CO that formerly worked at the prison. We started back again today.
Okay.
So that, I think, eliminated one of the openings. And we also have a part-time officer that graduated in that class that we are considering looking into hiring a full-time.
Okay.
That is something we weren't sure if we needed to do with the terrific board or if that's done with HR. Because we've already approved and hired as part-time.
Anyone else?
I'm back. Chris Kelly, Scranton Times-Tribune. I have a couple of questions. Is there an investigation right now into missing records involving Miss Dominic? Can anyone speak to that?
Missing records.
Missing records.
I don't have any information, Chris. I'm missing.
Anybody else? All right. Number 2, I gave Miss Dominic an opportunity at the commissioners' meeting to address the discrepancies between her statement denying what the district attorney, Mark Powell, alleged in his court filing. She chose not to address that or give me a straight answer. I wonder if anyone on the board has anything to say about this continuing scandal, and where we stand is a sitting commissioner and a member of the board and the district attorney are now at odds over simple facts. And I wonder if anybody on the board has anything to say about that.
Well, there is a hearing scheduled, Mr. Kelly, in August to address these issues, so.
True.
Yeah, there is a hearing scheduled, and, regarding the email situation, it is going before court in August.
August 16th, yeah.
I have felt
correct.
that it was inappropriate to retrieve emails to matters that aren't involving you as a party. Is it illegal? I'm not a lawyer.
Right. Okay. I'm just saying, August 16th is a long way from now. There's a lot of time between then and now. And, the taxpayers are out there wondering what's going on. It's my job to try and find out. That's why I'm here.
I think this, we'll go back, obviously, everybody's here wondering about the investigation and what went on, which without the judge here and the warden, now we're kind of stuck with not being able to ask a lot of questions to them. But this whole thing goes back to, the mystery key. And, that was my main concern, was security issues. And now you're asking about missing
Records.
information or records. Well, that's a problem. So that's, like I said before, it was very concerning to me in the beginning. And now if there's things missing, well, now that's even a bigger problem, so.
So you're aware of
It's-
that?
What's that?
You're aware of there being missing records or an investigation? into
That's
missing
what I'm
records?
hearing.
Who did you hear it from?
I just heard it from you just now. So now we have
That's not
to,
really confirmation.
we just opened up another, well, we're going to have to look into that. We had a private investigator I thought was going to do a thorough job, which we haven't really talked to him yet. I was hoping he'd maybe be here today, but he's not. So there's a lot of unanswered questions for me, too.
Okay. Ms. Dominic, one more opportunity. Do you want to address the discrepancies between your statement and Mr. Powell's allegations in his filing?
No, that's a lawsuit that's pending, so I think that it shouldn't be commented upon, but it should go through the court system. I will say, with regard to Chris Shermack's statement about his main concern, I just want to bring attention to the fact that he was not concerned with the prison at all, to the extent that he wouldn't even sign the new hire forms when we hired somebody at the prison. So I find it particularly odd that all of a sudden he has this new interest in the prison when he had none. And secondly,
I'm sorry, who are you talking about?
about him indicating that his main concern is this.
Oh, okay, Chris, I'm sorry. I
The
got
second thing
confused.
is, with regard, there are rumors flying everywhere. I mean, that's, I guess, what it is in a county. I don't know. But I did, and you can verify this through other people, specifically request that an investigation be done into the misuse of our OMS, which I believe stands for Offender Management System, with regard to documents and access of documents and the misuse or wrongful obtaining information in a wrongful manner or wrongful access of these documents. So I vehemently deny anything having to do with missing documents or anything like that. It's just one of 100 rumors that are floating. But I did ask our solicitor and chief of staff and co-commissioners that I did recommend that they do an investigation into the OMS system, which I believe is used at the prison, but also maybe at the DA's office. I don't know if other offices use it. That they do run an investigation to see whether there was a misuse of that system to obtain information on whether it be me or other people or whatever it may be. So
Okay, is that investigation underway? Or
I don't know.
can someone speak to that?
The response that I received was that GTL is the one who runs the system, and I was told that our chief of staff had indicated to me that, I don't know who actually their opinion was, maybe Frank can talk about it, but that they didn't believe we had the authority to ask GTL to conduct such an investigation. My understanding, after doing some research on OMS and what it is that it's called a, it's called a chain trail. That they can simply run a chain trail, I believe, is what I'm looking at my messages to tell you if that's for sure what it's called, but that it's not anything that would be burdensome to GTL. They're our vendor, and we do pay them to provide a service. Audit trail, sorry, I don't know why I said chain, it was an audit trail. We do pay them as a vendor to provide services to us, so I don't believe that would be burdensome for them to do an audit trail to see if the OMS system has been misused in any way or anything of that matter. I can assure you that I don't even know how to access an OMS system. I don't even know how to access the Infocon system. So I certainly did not delete anything.
Okay. Frank, did you have something else?
Sure, I'd be happy to speak to that briefly. So Commissioner Dominic did request about a week ago or so, to her point, that we take a look at this. I spoke with Chief Jeffers, and he and I communicated. At that point, my recommendation was that if we were going to take a look at it and investigate it, that we should do it from an outside standpoint.
whether we go to the district attorney's office or we go somewhere else, if there were any type of inherent conflicts. And the reason was twofold. The first is, I don't know that we have the ability to direct GTL to do specifically what Commissioner Dominic is requesting. But more than that, I want to preserve the integrity of any investigation that may need to occur. So if there was some form of wrongdoing undertaken by someone with regards to this OMS system, I didn't want to jeopardize the integrity of that investigation by doing an investigation in-house or by having individuals within the county, per se, doing an investigation that they're not accustomed nor was it something that's within their bailiwick. So from that standpoint, I spoke with Chief Jeffers. We communicated back with Commissioner Dominic and asked her at that point what was her desire. Did she desire us to move forward and proceed with that? And I don't know if we received a response back from that, but where it stands now is if we're going to move forward and do an investigation, I wouldn't certainly oppose that, but I would request that an outside agency do it. And I would first most likely go to the district attorney's office, have them make a determination if they felt there was a conflict or not, as we normally would, and then take it from there. If they felt there was a conflict, I certainly can't speak for the district attorney, but I presume they would then pass it off to whatever appropriate agency they determine.
But that's not happening so far.
No, it has not happened thus far. My last communication with
Right, and
Commissioner
then I emailed
Dominic
you
was,
back.
was,
I emailed you back and I said that I had no issue with the outside entity doing it, but I recommended that we either contact the vendor, GTL, or I think we have an OMS representative. Maybe we can contact them for guidance, and that we would talk when we saw each other. But today, we've been in meetings all day, so we have not had an opportunity to address it.
yeah, my intent would be, if we're going to move forward, that I would request an outside agency review it.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else like to address the board? I don't see anyone. Are there any other members, other business? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes the prison board meeting, July 20th.